Hey, let's get started. So basically how it works is Twinkle, the Kunja's wife, is going to print out your booklets and she's going to bring it in soon. But for now, you can write on your exercise books or just observe, okay? So next time, make sure to bring an exercise book if you haven't today, okay? Or you can borrow off from someone next to you. Okay, so we're going to start off with something not too hard, but it's good to get this down pat. Reading descriptions. So this will help in terms of understanding reading comprehensions that have a lot of descriptions, being able to identify techniques, and also when you're writing your own stories, being good at writing descriptions, okay? And not just writing the boring, mundane, everyday description that every year 7 writes. You're here to differentiate yourself or to be at a more advanced level than your other year 7s, right? So let's start. Descriptions make reading so much more interesting. They help us visualize objects and scenes and help to bring the subject matter to life. Writers use imagery to create descriptive language that draws the reader in through the scenes. So here they've given you a poor example of description. He played the piano. That just seems like a simple sentence, but now when we write, we want to make sure that we write descriptive sentences, okay, that are more unique. So here is a really good description. First, one note sounded, then another, cold as ice crystals, stung out like stars in the sky. Much more interesting than he played the piano, okay? But not everyone can write at that level yet. And that's what we are going to practice doing. Can anyone recognize any techniques in that line? Anyone recognize? Yes?
Metaphor.
Metaphor, yes. So cold as ice crystals. What else do we see in the back?
Wait, simile?
Simile, great. Because we have the use of like. The comparison here, strung out like stars in the sky. There's one more between stars and sky. Does anyone know that one? Starts with an A. Alliteration, great. Okay. Descriptions often use adjectives and adverbs to show specific sensory detailing relating to sight. So here they've given you examples. Descriptions also use similes, which we've recognized. They use contrasts. Does anyone know what contrasts mean? Like, give me a nod if you know what contrast means. No, not really. So contrast means talking about two very different things next to each other. Okay? So we have the very tall tower in contrast or different to the small cottages. Okay? And then we use words to help us understand feelings and emotions. So here we have one sample. Does anyone want to volunteer reading out this sample? Thank you.
Sun her head and spread her wings, so that the dogs were presented with a fan of feathers. In the center of each wing was a beautiful marking, not noticeable when the wings were closed, which looked exactly like the two eyes of an enormous owl glaring at him. The whole transformation was done so slickly, from the slim, neat little bird to something that resembles an infuriated evil owl at bay, that the dogs were taken completely by surprise They had stopped their advance, took one look at the shivering wings, and then turned tail and fled. The sun-bitten shuffled her wings back into place. Green and a few of her breast feathers had become disarranged and fell to meditating again.
Thank you. So that was our first sample. You can see there's a lot of description in that one. Let's start answering some questions. I know you don't have your booklets yet. Do you? No, they will come. Okay, so they're saying from the first sample, choose 2 words that make you picture shapes. Name the shapes. So let's see from this first sample. Is there any word that you guys see that makes you think of a shape?
Transformation.
Transformation? What? Yeah, what shape does that make you think of?
Any shape word.
You give me any shape? Can we think of any words that remind us of a specific shape? Yeah?
Eyes. Circle.
Yeah, eyes. Maybe eyes are more oval, but yeah, close enough.
Fan.
Eyes. Yes.
Sun.
Sun and circle. Great. So we have eyes, oval, sun, circle. Did you say fan?
Yeah.
Fan would be triangle.
Semicircle.
Yeah. For now, you can just observe my screen, and then when you get your booklets, you can write it down. Okay. But for now, just you can pay good attention to what we're doing right now. The next question: choose 2 words that describe movement. Movement. Slickly is actually an adverb, so that describes the movement. But what about the actual movement? Yes? Fled? Where is fled?
Meditation.
Yes, fled is a good one. What else? Yes? Shuffled? Where's shuffled? Oh, there? Yes? Yes? Ducked, yes. So let's write ducked, shuffled. I'm sure there's a lot more, but we'll write these 3. Ducked, shuffle, and fled. You guys don't need to write now. When we get the booklets, you can write. What describes how the bird appeared to the dogs? Like, what did the dogs think of the bird? Can anyone see? Where do we see that?
It says the dog was like, I'm completely surprised they stopped there.
Yeah, the dog. So we can just say that these group of words describe how they felt towards the bird. Dogs, yeah, were taken completely. So that's a different person or a different character's perspective. Do you guys know what characterization is? So some people know characterization is how does a character appear, what is a character like, anything like that. And characterization, you can describe characterization with how other people think of you too. Not just how you look, but how other people or other characters view you. And if we're taking something directly from the text, I like to put some quotation marks like that. Okay, does someone want to read now sample 2? Anyone? Thank you.
One pebble, one almighty pebble, one single piece of sandstone, whom millennia ago by servants laid down before any human life had eyes to witness. Formed in the dream time by spirits whose ancestors are God and life. We have perched from a distance and looking westward glad of grass. The enormity of the pebble we've all been told to have seen. A sacred pebble. The horizon is flat for miles and miles all around, but there's nothing further away for us to come down. inheritance. The trees are short and scrubby, not too good for measuring and estimating strength. We tell ourselves it's not that impressive. It's small. It's isolated. Its roots are shallow. And then it hits. The enormity of this action and wondrous rock, the haunted land. Our group 4 hours to walk the 10-kilometer route around Oregon. Our guide tells us stories that have been told from the beginning of time, passed from generation to generation. You can almost see the spirit reflected in the face. We start at dawn, before the heat becomes unbearable. Before long, the sun shouts, screams, lashes the landscape with unbearable force, shiver and storm.
Thank you. So guys, we have your booklets now, and there's also, just for today, a different type of role. So you guys are gonna have to listen up. So you have the role, you tick off your name, but if your name is not on the roll, like you're new or something like that, you write your full name here, and then, okay, on this extra sheet. Otherwise, tick off your name on the first or second page. So that will just go around, and also your booklets are going around. Sorry? If you already wrote your name on the page, you can just tick it. Yes. You got a year 6 booklet?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just gonna grab another booklet then. Wait, do you have the year 7 booklet? Yes. Who doesn't? Oh, yes? Is it? Okay, so hold on. Who's getting year 6 booklets? Wait, who's the other going to get 6 booklet? Who's got the year 7 booklets?
That's chapter.
So these two are. Okay. Just leave the year 6 booklet on your table. I'm gonna give. So who doesn't have the year 7 English booklet? These 2 rows, okay, they're coming around now. Sorry guys, I must have been something with the printer. And who has a roll? Yeah, just keep it passing around. All right, guys, you can fill out these questions now on your booklet that you didn't get to yet. Yes, you're allowed to use pen.
Do you have any other pencils?
I don't, but we can ask. Does anyone have an extra pencil? Yeah, he has. Did everyone take their name off the roll? Are these extra? Who doesn't have the year 7 English booklet? Okay. Yes. So right now we're just filling in the questions that we just did. Okay. Oh, good.
It's locked.
Oh, okay. I mean, you can wait for them to come out. So we're doing from sample 2. Choose one description that brings to life how the writer felt. This might seem easy at first, but we really want to make sure we choose the right description that actually brings to life what the writer felt. So yeah, emotions are key. Yes. So which line? The third line, formed in dream time, that one? Yeah, we're doing sample 2. So this question, sorry. But what about from sample 2, guys? Anything here that brings to life what the writer felt, emotion-wise? Yes. It takes our group 4 hours to walk the 10. So what feeling comes across here? Tiredness? Yeah, 4 hours. But I think that sentence is more literal. If we want real feelings, something like the heat becomes unbearable is more feeling oriented. Yes? Yes. So something like that is a lot more dramatic. Here we get the idea that they're tired, but this one exaggerates it, really brings it to life. Okay? So let's write that quote down. Does anyone see what techniques are in that quote? You can just call them out. Personification. What else? Hyperbole. Great. For those that don't know, hyperbole means exaggeration. What about the S sounds? Yes, but also for S sounds specifically, what is it called? Sibilance. Yeah, sibilance. So alliteration of S sounds has its own name. Sibilance. That's another new technique for you guys. Now choose 2 words that describe how the Uluru appeared. Did anyone have any? A pebble? They called it a pebble? Which is quite ironic, right? Because Uluru is humongous and a pebble is tiny. What else? Yeah? Yes? Pebble and sandstone.
Millions of years.
But that's not how it looked. That's more of how it formed, right? So we're just looking visually. Choose 2 words that make you picture a person or people and describe how you. Oh, this is a new sample. Okay, so we're doing sample 3, The Drover's Wife by Henry Lawson. Who wants to give a go at reading this one? Okay, yeah.
4 ragged, dried-up little children are playing around the house. Suddenly, one of them snake. Mother, there's a snake. They run upside down, grabbing a bush and dashes from the kitchen. Snatches her baby from the ground, holds it on her left hip, and reaches for a snake. At the same time, the big black, yellow-eyed dog of all breeds, who had shown the father's interest in his game, breaks his chain and rushes after the snake. It is a moment late, however, and his nose reaches the crack in his slabs just as the end of its tail disappears. Almost at the same moment, the boy stop comes down and spins a fallen said nose. Alligator takes more use of this and proceeds to undermine the building, but he is subdued after a struggle and chained up. They cannot afford to lose it.
Great, thank you so much. So the question now is, did someone say they didn't understand the text?
But yeah, at the end, I don't understand. I don't understand the end. Like this nose got changed up. Who got changed up? I don't know.
Which chained up? Where?
Like, it
Oh,
says,
but he's
skins
subdued.
and skins of all set up.
The alligator got chained up.
But that's his name. And it says it's the dog. Like,
So basically, they're living in a house, and a lot of wildlife, like it's in the outback, and a lot of wildlife is going crazy around them. Okay, so this story is just talking about how harsh and how dangerous the Australian outback is, especially for these people, which is the drover and his wife and their kids. Is that anything else that we're confused about for that sample?
Yeah, what the skins-
Meaning, where?
skins are all set up.
Oh, okay. So the boy comes with his bat, like a wooden bat, right? He made out of wood. And then he basically peels off the skin of the snake. So yeah. This little
It
boy,
says nose.
yeah, and skins like peels off the nose of the
Then what
Yeah.
happens to the dog?
sorry, yes?
So is that alligator chained up or is the dog chained up?
I think they're both chained up.
So the alligator.
The wife has chained up a lot of the animals. Right?
So they're gonna get attacked.
And they break free from the chain, so they've got to fight back. So choose words that make you picture a person or people and describe how you see her. So we're probably going to choose a wife, right? Or the children.
Mother.
The mother, yes. So what are some words that describe firstly the mother?
Mother. The word mother. And
Sun brown bushwoman, gaunt,
Yeah, bushwoman.
sun.
which one?
So we can say gaunt, sun brown bushwoman. Gaunt means to look tired. So this mother's probably not feeling living here. Like they're not having the easiest of times. And sunbrown means they've gone out to the sun a lot. They like basically live outside. So we can see that this person is, thank you. So all the people that didn't take off their name on the roll, did they write their name here? New people, great, yeah. So what does a description of dog of all breeds make you picture?
Like a dog that's kind of like multicolored. Like
Yes,
white,
but think about it in the context of the story. The story is very harsh. Maybe has the ferociousness or is way too crazy that they have like all the features of every single dog. Yes? Yeah, high energy, strong. They have so many features. It's chaotic. So it makes you think chaotic, strong, energetic.
That's what you call a canine.
Like different dogs have different scary points, right? Things that make them a bit scary, but this one has all of them.
That's bad.
Maybe that they're not even like puppy-like, they're the complete opposite, like a demon or a monster with how, yeah. So we can say demonic as well. Okay, anyone want to read St. Magnus Cathedral, Kinwell, Scotland? Yes, in the back?
Magnus Cathedral,
Boys, second row.
the island of Greece. Let's start with the Constitution. Yeah, 1137. Was carried at head of Poland and the other side, which is
places may have come from anything. Inside, plastic bags still produce black and made and the highest standards of both Berlin. So we have Berlin brand option priced in a high. It is two-story. Story building, which are covered by a further row of way. By a further row of arches that support the raised skirt butt and cluster of the ceiling, the even stained glasses, glass windows, doors ready to be and yellow and yellow light. The top section consists of shaped segments from the lower of the floor. Pointed arch top beneath it and behind the altar are three red fabric, and on the feet are three gold legs of hope follow of the Fanda and the grandnephew of the aspect and the bishop of
Thank you so much. So this one's quite different from the other text, but still a lot of description about this cathedral. So the first question, what description shows that the builders were very capable even over 850 years ago? So capable means to be able to do your job well. They were able to build well. Even so far back in time, they were able to build such a masterpiece. What shows us this? Maybe ancient red fabric from a long time ago. Massive roundstone pillars. These are huge things that these people built. Like even such far back, they were still able to build humongous buildings without the equipment that we use today. So I'm just going to say ancient red fabrics, so using very longer fabrics. And also massive roundstone pillars. Would you be able to draw the eastern window and the panel below it, even if you could not see a picture? Would you guys be able to do it? Or do you think it's possible for anyone to do it? Maybe not you, but for anyone to do it.
yes.
Yes, why? Because there's a lot of descriptive language. So yes, due to the immense amount of descriptive language. Now we're going back to sample one. This one. You guys remember? So can you guys tell me why they didn't include more description of the dogs? Yes?
They're trying to focus more on
To focus more on what? Great. That's perfect. So I think it's the type of bird. 2, instead shift the focus on the bittern, on the characterization of the bittern. Identify 3 sections that describe the changes in the bird's appearance, which is the bittern. So 3 phrases that show the bird's appearance is changing. Yeah?
On the infuriated eagle owl at bay, the little bird too that resembled the infuriated eagle owl at bay.
And what is changing here?
It was usually it was before a little bird, but now something.
Yes, so let's just use that sentence. Slim meek. Yes. To something that resembled. We'll just do one for now. We'll move on. Infuriated eagle owl at bay. Okay. What words in the passage? So now we are moving on to sample 2. This one. A trip to Uluru. So what words in this passage make this trip special? Can convey that this person felt that this was a special trip. Anyone have an idea? Will you take a moment to think about it? Yes? Yes, sacred pebble. Where is that? Oh, here, a sacred pebble. And it's also a short sentence which creates emphasis. That's called short syntax. Does anyone else have any that make it seem special? The heart of this land, maybe that's quite a romantic use of language to call this place the heart of the land. Yes?
Pebble, one single piece of sandstone formed millennia when the sediments stayed down before any human life was island.
Yes, I'll use the word almighty just because we're running out of space. But yes, that sentence also works really well. Identify one sentence that uses visual imagery to create mood. Okay, so there's 2 terms here you guys need to know, which is visual imagery and mood. Visual imagery is just what you can see, anything that describes visually, okay? Can anyone name another type of imagery? Anyone know? Sorry? Like, can anyone name other than visual imagery another type of imagery we could have? Yes? Great, gustatory. So she started us off with a harder one. So if we're going to go with our different types of imagery, we have visual imagery, which is what you can see, things that describe your sight. We have gustatory, which is what she said, which is, the way I remember the meaning of this one is gustatory has the word gut in it, G-U-S-T-A. So if you have G-U-T, guts, and that's another word for taste. We have auditory imagery. Can anyone tell me what sight? Yes. No, not sight. What type of, yeah? Hearing. So what you can hear. Yes? Yes. What about what you can feel and touch? That's called tactile imagery. These are very important, guys. You should write these down in your exercise books and keep them memorized. One last sense, guys, that we've been missing, which is what you could smell. Does anyone know the word for that one? Yeah? Yes, olfactory. So the way I think about it is that a factory has a weird smell. So but technically it's because of the olfactory nerve, okay? Goes from your spine to your brain. Okay, so we have established that visual imagery is what we can see. Words describe just plainly what our eyes can interpret. Now, mood is what emotions come out of reading this story. What kind of vibe do we feel, essentially? Okay, so if we wanted to identify one sentence that creates a mood in sample 2, let's see. So anyone can see a sentence visually. Honestly, I'm going to use a sentence that someone mentioned before, which is, it takes our group 4 hours to walk. Can anyone guess what, or can anyone tell me what mood this sentence creates? Tiring, great. Yes. The time is 11:12. Also, we wrote different types of imagery on the side, on the board, so you can write that down. We finish at 12. It's 11:12. So we have 48 minutes left. And this creates a tiring mood. Explain what the author means by the description, dried up looking children. What does he actually mean that the children are dried up? What could it mean as well? Yes? Yeah, they maybe malnourished and dehydrated, and they could also be very tired from living, like exhausted. So, yeah. Guys, this is from sample 3, which was the one with the drover's wife. They're fighting for animals. And maybe also unhappy. It can also mean that. We're thinking less literally, guys. We're thinking more figuratively. Unhappy, yes, scared. Starving, which means malnourished. How do you think the dog is behaving if he shows the wildest interest so that he breaks his chain? Yes? Yeah, so very hyper energetic. And also he's quite, sorry? Yes. Perfect. Protective was a good one. Sample 4. Even though no descriptions of the outside of the cathedral is given, can you picture? Yeah, we can do that. We'll just skip that part. Okay, we're going to move on to the next page after this one. All right. We're going to come back to this one later. We're going to go to grammar, okay? So you keep going. There will be homework. So hi, Q. Do you guys get homework for maths?
Yeah.
Yes, also for English. Okay, guys. Does anyone want to volunteer to read grammar? Yes, thank you.
The ability and
prefers. Not pianist, what's wrong with the whole system? Now is your chance to have these fears and get an extra pair to take home. Try a cough syrup, you will never get any better. Agreement of noun and verbs, singular nouns and plural nouns, take singular verbs and plural nouns, take plural verbs. Example, she is singing praises. However, collective nouns take singular verbs as these nouns make one complete meaning. Example, my team is playing at the MCG on Saturday. But when we refer to individual members of a group, the verb must be plural. Example, all the members on my team are very good. Sometimes it's hard to decide which of two nouns is the subject of the verb and whether the verb should be in singular or plural. Example, the price of houses is high. The price is high, not the houses. Therefore, the verb must be singular, two subjects, particularly when each is comprised of an adjective and noun before. The verb can also be confusing. The conjunction joining two subjects also causes confusion. Example, one cat or one dog is all we need. One fish or two birds is all we need. Two fish or one bird is all we need. The conjunction between two subjects means the word has to be plural. Example, one fish and one bird are all we need. Comparison of adjectives. A simple rule tells us when to use and s and more and worse. And more are used for two people. S and worse are used for me and one, but there are exceptions such as good, better, best, not gooder, and goodest. Example, she is taller, not tallest of two sisters. The eldest of the three sisters is the most talented. He is the most, not more, talented mathematics student in the class. The picture on the left is more beautiful than the one on the right. Very misplaced, dangling particle. A particle is part of a verb. The present participle ends in ing and many past participles and misunderstanding of participles often causes unclear sentences. Bad example, through the bush, the sky became overcast. Discouraged by many difficulties, the task appeared hopeless. A subject and auxiliary verb are needed to make the meaning clear. In examples above, we need to know who did the walking and who was discouraged. Correct example, as we subject were walking complete verb through the bush, the sky became overcast. As the subject was discouraged, complete verb, by many difficulties, the task appeared hopeless. Related nouns. Related pronouns relate ideas to nouns or personal pronouns that precede them. It is often hard to decide when to use who, and whose using substitution to trust. If you can substitute he, she, or they, use who. Example, we lack those persons who are kind to us. Test, we lack those persons if they are kind to us. If we can substitute them, there, or then use her. Example, that man for whom we saw yesterday. Test, that man we saw yesterday. Rule for whose is simple. Whose always means who is. Whose also means belonging to or relating to a person or thing. Example, the pencil whose point was broken with sharpening. The child whose dog was run over was very sad. Who's making dinner tonight? 5. Ambiguity.
When we add a phrase, a group of words beginning with a preposition, but without a verb or dependent subordinate clause, a group of words with a verb that makes sense only when joined to main clause. We must put in the right place or the sentence does not make sense. The mother brought a bomb for the baby with plastic teeth. Wrong. The mother bought a bomb with plastic teeth for the baby. Correct. We found the ring belonging to a lady named Wrong. We found the ring made of gold belonging to the lady. Correct. Not only but also idol for needle. The piece must be used together to form correct sentences. Not only, but either more and neither, or as grammatically incorrect. Examples. He is not sang in the choir, but also performed in the play. Either you can come shopping with me, or you will have to stay home. Neither Darwin nor Jordan was selected for the team. No, interpreting or more sentences helps to determine the verb. Neither and more are negative forms of either and or and refer to one thing or another. So the verb must be singular. Nor is not or shortened. Some words that are often confused. Less or fewer, we use fewer when referring to things that can be counted. We use less when it's harder to know how much there is of something. Examples, there are fewer students in year 8 than in year 9. Count the numbers of students in each year. I had less ice cream than you because it is not possible to count ice cream. Number and amount. This is the same principle, less and fewer. These numbers for things that can be counted and amounts with figure and can't be counted. Examples, a large number of students
Boys.
the excursion because we can count how many students we need. G went to a significant amount of trouble to come up with a number because trouble is not something that can be counted. Using the right pronoun after a preposition, a pronoun that follows a preposition should be always expressed as the object of the verb. She gave the books to is a preposition, so the correct pronoun is me. She gave the books to Tim. You easily work out the correct form by leaving out Tim. You would naturally say she gave the books to me.
No, that's okay. Thank you so much. That was a lot to
Sounds
read.
so long.
Yeah, but it was very comprehensive, and now you guys have a really good idea on that sort of grammar. So let's put that to the test. Underline the correct word from the brackets to make nouns and verbs agree. So what we're going to do is we're going to go one by one from, we'll start from the back of the class, and you can just call out what you think the answer is. So we'll start from there. 1A, have or has there been a reduction in prices? And you also can tell me the reason why you think that. It's okay, you can take your time getting to the page.
I think it's has.
And why do you think it's has? So it's one thing, guys, to be able to know which one sounds better, just out of familiarity, but it's even better to know the reason, right? But that's why we're here to learn. So can anyone help him with that, or do you guys want me to tell you? Yeah.
That is gonna does not make sense.
But why? Reason is have is for plural subjects, has is for singular. They're talking about the reduction here. Is that singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular. So the answer is has, which is for singular subjects. Does that make sense, guys? You got to be 100% sure on why, so we never make the mistake. There are or is many books in the library. Are, because why?
Sound right, but like there is doesn't make sense if you put is in it. Like
I understand what you're saying, but again, we don't use oh because it makes sense or that. We have a clear, definite reason why. Yes?
or is plural
And books is plural. The subject here that they're referring to, books is plural. Next question. The photograph of the premiership team have or has been taken? Has, and why do we say that?
because have is like plural and then have. Yeah.
So has is singular, yes, but what is the subject that's singular? That's we choosing. Yep, so there's only one premiership, so we're using has. Next person. The movement of the ballet's dance arms were or was most graceful? Sorry? Was? Are you saying was? So if we're talking about this might confuse some people. People might think arms here is plural, so we say were, but the subject that we're actually referring to here is movement, and movement is singular. So we are going to use was, okay? So you guys might have singular nouns and plural nouns in your sentence. It's up to you to make sure you understand which is the subject that the word is actually referring to. E, neither of the options are or is worth considering. Yes, neither is talking about two different options. Complete the table to give the correct form of the adjectives. Two have been done for you. So we'll go next person in the back. For fast, what is it for between two people? Yep, and for three or more? Yes. And then we'll go from there. For short? Shorter and shortest. So far, so good. Next. Yep. So what did we do here? We didn't just add an ER, we changed the Y to an I. Same thing that they showed us here. Okay, so it's not always going to be the same. For bad. So bad isn't actually a word, guys. What is, it starts with W, the word. Worse. So they might not even have a different rule. They might change the whole word in itself. And what about for three or more? So worstest and baddest isn't a word. It's just worst. Okay, guys. That one's a bit more of a tricky one. Next person for much. Most is for three or more. What about between two people? More. Okay, next person for comfortable. Yes, most comfortable. So they're using. So comfortable doesn't actually change. Why do we think comfortable doesn't actually change? Because comfortable already has so many syllables, like 3 syllables. That's why it doesn't make sense. So we add most or more before it. Okay? Next person for gracious. More gracious. And then most gracious. Similar thing here. Yes. What about for far? Next person. Great. Further and what was the other one? What was for more, three or more? Furthest, yes. What about ignorant? From this side. More ignorant. Again, this is a long 3-syllable word, that's why. And then most ignorant. Okay, we're gonna skip that part. We're gonna go to extend yourself. It's just the next page. Okay, let's do the first one together, and then I'm gonna ask you guys to give a go at the next two yourself, and then we're gonna check our answers. So 1A, a stack of boxes was standing outside the shop. What here is a noun and verb, first of all?
Noun is like
It's actually the stack here that's a noun. Boxes is like a noun inside of that noun. The main noun that they're referring to that's actually standing is a stack.
Wait, what about shop?
But we're talking about the noun and verb that match with each other. So a stack of boxes were standing. How do we make this match? Problem here is a stack is singular, but where is plural. So this is singular, and this is plural. So how do we change that to make that make sense?
Was.
Yes.
You have to write the whole sentence if we just got was.
I think you have to write the whole sentence. Okay, now I'm going to give you a few moments to have a go at the next three yourself to see if you've gotten the hang of this one. And to give you guys a hint, like something to help you, do something like this, where you underline the matching noun and verb first, and then circle the principle. Yep, B, C, and D. Anyone need more time? Yeah. I don't see everyone's question filled. Okay, let's go with it. Next person that was in the queue, yeah? What did you change and why? So you changed word to was, why? Because? Which word here is singular? That's the subject. Yes. It's Parliament singular. Neither Abdul nor Robert do their homework. Perfect. Do and did. So that one was a newer one that we haven't done before because neither is plural. The remarks of some students was embarrassing. So you're right in changing was to where, but the subject wasn't actually students. The subject was remarks. That was plural. It wasn't the students was embarrassing. It was the remarks of embarrassing. But still ended up with the right answer. Okay, next person. Let's have a go at. Let's speed run through this one. Yes. I was hoping you were saying better and not gooder. Yeah. Great. Next one.
More spacious and more spacious.
Amazing. Yes. More spacious. Most spacious. Next person. It's actually 50er and 50th. Next person. Yes. Because heroic might seem like a small word, but it has 3 syllables. Little. I think this story. Little is not actually a word. It's more little and most little. Well, then the adjective would be small, right? The base word would be small. So it's actually more little and most little. Audible. Next person. Yes. Audibler is not a word. Rewrite the sentence to remove the ambiguity. Can anyone tell me what ambiguity means? Ambiguity means when something is not clear, it's not specific, it's vague. That's what ambiguity. So for example, sorry? Yeah, kind of. So you see here, driving around the safari park, who is driving around? They're not being specific. So that's ambiguous. Okay? So let's change it to remove the ambiguity. How are we going to change that? We can say an elephant and its calf was seen driving around the safari park. Or no, it wasn't even the elephant and calf. Who's driving? Yeah. So we could be a bit more specific. Who is watching the elephant and calf specifically?
The driver.
But who's the driver? Yeah. We can say anyone. We can say, while we were driving around the safari park, we saw an elephant and its calf. All right.
Wait, what is ambiguity?
It means they're not, they're being unclear with who it is or like what the word means. While we were, so we means me and maybe some friends or something like that. We can say while we students were driving around the safari park. Who here is in year 6? Okay, less than last time. students rush for the doorway, moving rapidly down the corridor. Firstly, what here is ambiguous. Not quite. It's not about we need like details of the story. It's more like a single word here is being vague. It's moving. Who is moving? Is it the students or the doorway that's moving rapidly?
Students orbital.
That's why we need to make it more clear because it could be either the students or the doorway. Here, I think it's the students should be moving rapidly down the corridor because they're rushing for the doorway. The students rushed for the doorway while they were moving rapidly down the corridor. Crawling through the undergrowth, the mysterious house was sighted. What is crawling?
I was crawling through
A man was crawling through.
We can just change it to yes, single. We can do I was crawling through the undergrowth and sighted a mysterious house. We can do that. There's lots of different ways that you can change it, but the point here is to be able to recognize what was ambiguous in the first place, which was crawling. So you can say I was, or the man was, or the woman, anything, honestly. It's 11:43, so we have around 15 minutes left. Insert the relative pronouns who, whom, and whose correctly. So we are choosing, guys, between who, whom, and whose. Okay, so where were we up to? Yeah. So I'm going to meet the author. Something novel I read. Yes. The boy. Something was in the accident. Yes. Because whose was referring to the author's novel, an object belonging to the person. Who is just referring to the person itself. Is this a friend? Who? It would actually be whom. Whom you were referring, speaking earlier. Insert the correct word in these sentences. The man with a full trolley stood in the, are we doing less than 10 items lane or fewer than 10 items lane? It's actually fewer. Why are we saying fewer instead of less, guys? And the majority of you guys said less. Because items are countable. When you use things like volumes, for example, less water or less belief in something, those things are not countable. But here, items that you buy in the shopping mall are countable, so we use fewer. He swept a large number or amount of leaves from the footpath. Can we count leaves? Yeah, we can count leaves. It's tedious. It's a lot of work, but we can still count leaves, right? So he swept a larger number of leaves. Amount is for when you can't count. Harry's meeting with you and I after school, or you and me?
Me.
Can anyone tell me where this comes across in the rules that we had? It's me. So we have bad example and good example. That's why you guys got to listen to the information at the start. Yes. Okay, let's move on. Before we move on to this page, basically how homework will work is I will either give you a separate thing to do or you guys finish the rest of the booklet yourselves for whatever we've missed. So we've already skipped a page and a half. That is most likely going to be your homework. And then what happens is you do your homework at home and then you bring it to class next week and then I'll come and check it. Okay? At the start of the class. Kunj and Twinkle are a bit strict about homework. So make sure that you complete it. But it shouldn't be too much each week. Okay? So this week is most likely just finishing the book, but I won't do anything separate for homework. Correct these sentences that contain misplaced sections and or omitted words. The path was very rough and he slipped and nearly broke his leg in several places. What do we think is misplaced here? What we can say is because the path was rough, that made him slip. There's no causation here. They just put two random things here together. I'll explain. I'll show you. The path was very rough. Having caused him to was very rough, which caused which. Do you see how that which made a huge difference in the making sense of the sentence? We left our car outside of the garage of the mechanic with a flat battery. So here they changed up the order. It's because of the flat battery that they left the car outside of the garage, but they put that beforehand. Yes? Yes. So you say because of our car's flat battery, we left it outside of the garage of the mechanic. We left the car. Outside, we can make it even better, mechanic's garage instead of garage of the mechanic. Don't go further to be swindled. Shop here.
Unless you want to swindle.
Yeah?
Question number B. You can't start a sentence because.
Yeah. We can say due to, if you prefer. Due to our cars. Great, thank you. So don't go for we can say here, shop here to not be swindled by further. Being tricked, get scammed, like having to pay a high price for something that was supposed to be cheaper by further shops. It is said that King Richard was murdered by some historians, but others say the cause of his death was unknown.
Who's King Richard?
Do you know why this one doesn't make sense? It looks like the historians murdered him, but that's definitely not it. The historians just said that he was murdered. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So we can say some historians say that King Richard was murdered. But others say the cause of his death was unknown. So that was a bit of a unusual one as well. Yeah.
Say that the historians murdered him.
That's why the sentence is confusing because of the poor grammar. The historians didn't actually murder him. They just said that he was murdered. That one, yeah, it needs a secondary to get it. Yeah, people are getting it now. We found the warehouse turning the corner and immediately began to unload the truck. So this sentence makes it seem like the warehouse was turning the corner. But it's actually that we were driving past the corner and we saw the warehouse. That's what it means. So while we were turning the corner, so we just have to change it there. Of the warehouse. We immediately began to unload the truck. Okay, let's speed run this one. David, so we're going to do either not only, but also, so we have to use either this pair together. You can't use one or the other, or this pair, or this pair, okay? So we're going to use David not only studied engineering, but also played sport while at university, or David either studied engineering or played sport, or David neither studied engineering nor played sport while at. Yeah. The first one makes the most sense. The other ones technically could be true, but this one makes the most sense. Next person that was on the row, which one do we think it is? Have you done your turn yet? He has. It's your turn. So try reading them in your head. Not only you agree to the conditions, but also I will not employ you, or either you agree to the conditions or I will not employ you. Neither you agree to the conditions, nor I will not employ you. It's a choice here between conditions or not getting employed. So we should use either, right? And all. Next person?
Neither fish nor mountain survive themselves.
Yeah, great. So none of them could survive. Okay, from the start, a large number of holiday makers. So we're looking at plural and singular. Can you tell me which one and then what was the subject? Were and what was the subject? So that's a plural descriptor. What was the plural subject?
Present.
Present, no, that's not the subject. That's a verb of what the subject is doing. What is were referring to? Holiday makers. Yeah, there's multiple holiday makers, so it's were. We'll go from the back again. A boy as well as a man.
Boy as well as a man was
So what is the subject? That's singular because you chose a singular word. What was the subject?
the subject is stealing.
Stealing is a verb, but who is was referring to? Like what is was referring? Yes. So there's one boy, so we use a singular agreement. Okay. The scene and the autumn foliage is or are very beautiful. Are, and why are we saying are?
Because it's two things.
Two things, plural. Scene and autumn foliage. A car and a trailer has or have? Yes, because? Perfect. The members of parliament are. Why? Yes, perfect. Insert the correct word in the sentences. A small, okay, so now we're looking at if we can actually manually count 1, 2, 3, 4, the subject, or is it uncountable? So is students countable? Yes, so that is number. Is noise countable? No, so that is amount. Police reported is countable? Yes. Fewer. Do you guys remember from the bad and good example? You guys have made the same mistake again. Remember that one, it's me. Okay, so for homework, just mark it on these pages. This is your homework, challenge yourself. This is your homework. And also this. So for homework, bring a booklet with finished homework, next lesson. Is anyone unsure about anything or have any questions? No, it's this part, and this part. So it's basically 1.5 pages. Any other questions? Anyone unsure? Okay. For those that forgot, my name is Adiva, and I'll see you all next week. Enjoy.